Welcome to Fair Leadership 40k's 1000 point battle report. We're playing Eternal War Narrow the Search. It's 1000 point of Mechanicus versus 1000 points of Ultramarines. The Mechanicus also have a unit of Imperial Knights, and we are playing for the objective in the middle. So it starts from 18 inches, shrinking by 3 inches by end of each battle round. The side with the most units within the bubble will capture the victory point, shrinking down to the final round, which will be 3 inches, and other than Slay the Warlord, First Strike and Line Breaker, we're playing for the key points by seizing the objective. But I'm at a slight disadvantage due to my lack of numbers. I think my only infantry back here is a lovely squad of Reavers, which will be deploying in the second turn, or the third turn, or maybe, I think, the fourth turn. Or is it just up to the third turn? Forget.
End of third, I think.
Yeah, end at third. If they make it to the fourth without deploying, they're dead. So if we move over to Sean's side, we have a spearhead of Mechanicus with 3 Honor Jejune Crawlers in the heavy support heavy support section. We have a squad of Rangers and a squad of Vanguard in the troop section. We have 2 Tet Priest Dominus, and we have 2 Armiger Warclaves in a super heavy auxiliary. On the other side, I have a spearhead of Ultramarines. I have Demos Vindicator Laser Destroyer in my heavy support. We have 2 Thunderfire Cannons. I then have a flyer with my Storm Talon. I have a fast attack with my Speeder, and I have an elite of Dreadnought, Ironclad, and 1 squad of elite Reavers. And other than that, I have my HQ, of which is a Tet Marine. No Marine World shenanigans for me today. Not so great for me, because I'm facing quite a lot of heavy weapons. But we'll see what happens. I'm obviously carrying behind my line of sight blocking terrain to survive the first turn. Sean is going first, he rolled higher than me. He's deploying first. I'm carrying. Hopefully I'll survive. We'll soon find out moving into turn 1. But it's unlikely, but I have rolled a command point, so I'm now down to 3. We both started with 4 command points because of the spearhead gives us +1 to our free base. Then I've spent 1 command point to give my guys +1 to their cover, of which may be useful, or they may just all end up dead. We'll see. So we'll move now to the first turn, of which will be Sean's. Expect a few casualties. Probably a few. Hopefully none. Probably unlikely.
There's a lot of probabilities there.
So, turn 1 of Mechanicus, that includes movement, shooting, psychic, not psychic obviously, because there's nothing we got psychic, but we did the psychic because you have to. And this is what's happened. So, as you can see, he's moved his onagers up, as well as his rangers that have just sat still behind the rock because they're in with 18 inch of the relic. Vanguard slowly approaching from just back there. Dominus following slowly behind 2 Armiger Warglaves, which were charging the Storm Talon, which has taken some damage. So one of them was just out of range, one of them was just outside 30 inches, 1 fired, I think it was 2 hit, and then only 1 wounded. And luckily on the damage roll, I have just survived taking 3 damage and not dropping a bracket. Luckily, because if both got in, I think that would be dead. Anything else you want to say about your lovely movement and shooting?
I'm just admiring it all there until you start firing it up with thunder cannons.
Well, the Thunderfire cannons can't do that much, apart from your troops, obviously. The reason why it was quite a short term was because, obviously, I went with the long strategy and my units are safely tucked away behind a nice rock face. Out of the range of these lovely Honor Jejune Crawlers, which also I positioned so I could block my Storm Talon from taking damage. If you go down here, as you can see, no view, thankfully. Otherwise, I think it would definitely be dead between 2 Warglaives and 3 Onagers. So we'll now move to my turn. Not going to be a lot happening because I don't really fancy popping out so much. I think my main target is going to be these Warglaives. They're my immediate threat. I'm not really playing to the objective yet because I can't really do so. I need to eliminate some of these heavy support weapons before I can actually do anything. So we'll move into turn 1 of the Ultramarines. So at the end of turn 1 Ultramarines, I have moved my Storm Talon right into the fray, and had, in my shooting phase, I've shot out the Vanguard, and I've done some damage with my las cannons to this Onager Dunecrawler. Other than that, I finished off the Vanguard using my Thunderfire cannons. I've now only just realised that I only fired one of my Thunderfire cannons. That was stupid of me. I could have taken out some more units. That is my error. Other than that, I wasn't able to do anything other than attempt to shoot the Warglaives with my land speeder with the missile launcher. It failed, even with a command reroll on the point. And that's pretty much it. The Dreadnought slowly trundling forwards, and my lovely Vindicator just sat there, happy. So in Mechanicus turn 2, shooting, movement and fun, we have a dead Dreadnought. The units have just consolidated closer to the relic, as well as the Amateur Warglaive slowly moving up to my hunkered down forces. The only saving grace after the dead Dreadnought is the fact that lots of units tried to kill this lovely Storm Talon and have yet to succeed, taking 5 from a Dunecrawler and the squad of Vanguard, and I believe it was the Dominus as well.
And the 2 Warglaives.
And the 2 Warglaives. But still alive. So, quite happy with that. And then this Tech Priest is slowly making his way to join the rest, unable to keep up with the Warglaives. So we'll see what happens in turn 2, though it was an uphill battle to begin with, personally, but we'll see what happens. In turn 2 of the Ultramarine uphill struggle, I've taken some damage on myself on my Deimos Vindicator Laser Destroyer when I went to use Overcharge Fire, rolling a 1, doing 3 mortal wounds on myself. I have done a little bit of damage to the Amateur Warglaive from my missile launcher and my land speeder. The rest failed to hit, only doing 2 damage. The only thing that's moved forward is my land speeder. Things are looking fantastic, though I have wiped out the Ranger squad using the 2 Thunderfire cannons at the back and the assault cannon from my Storm Talon, and then I fired the twin las cannon into the Warlord for the Mechanicus, the Tech Priest Dominus here, but it failed to do enough damage, only 1 hitting and only doing 2 damage, I believe. So we'll see what happens in turn 3 for the Mechanicus, but I'm expecting some dead Ultramarines, at least this land speeder. We'll see in turn 3. At the end of Mechanicus turn 3, miraculously, I can't even speak, magically I should say, there is no more dead Ultramarines yet, though there is a lovely, if we go all the way over here, a lovely Storm Talon on 1 lovely hit point. And over here we have a lovely Speeder who survived an onslaught and is still only on 5 from 6. And obviously my lovely Vindicate Laser Destroyer that was targeted by these 2 Warglaives is still standing, even though they're slowly crouching in to my lines. We'll see what happens later on. I'm not expecting great things. Over here not much has changed. Obviously here he has the only units close to the objective, so he seizes that, so that brings him up to 3 points. Yes, but I'm already preempting that. There's no units going to get anywhere near it. So I'm playing it safe. I should be okay. I'll change that if it does happen, but it's probably going to be 1 to 3. I'll change it otherwise, but I'm already guessing. We'll see what happens in Ultramarines turn 3. But I'll have to pull some magic out my ass, but see what happens. Turn 3 for the Ultramarines, the Reavers deploy in the movement phase. and now hold the objective, giving me a point at the end of this turn because they have survived, obviously, because I charged them in and failed against the Onager Dunecrawler, and I only took 1 damage, so hey hey. Thunderfire's failed to finish off this Armiger Warglaive, still on 2 points. Stormbolter, even with the bolt rule, failed to get it down either. Though my overcharge fire slightly backfired, so this guy's back on 9. I should just mark that now. I'll have to fix that up again. Over this way, not a lot happened. Did a little bit of damage to the Dunecrawler with my very wounded Storm Talon on its last bracket, hitting on 4s due to the +1 fitting ground units. And the fact that it's not moved because it's now in hover mode, because if I move fully it will go off the board and die, and I don't want to do that. Landspeeder moved forward and then did try to bog down this other knight, failed and died to the strike in return. Hey ho, it was going to die probably either way, so I just tried to bog a unit down because over here is not looking so good versus these two, unless I can kill it in the next turn. If I survive to the next turn, probably not. But that is the Ultramarines, turn 3, and if I can keep these guys alive, possibly, then I can hold that objective. But I'm just clawing for points as to why I need to keep that flyer alive and get Linebreaker, or possibly get this Warlord and get Slay the Warlord. We'll see. Moving on into turn 4 for the Mechanicus. So at the end of Mechanicus turn 4, Reaver's fallen back to support the rest of the forces around the relic, finishing off 4 Reavers from combined fire, and then over here this Reaver, even though it's on its last bracket, was able to take this down to 4 wounds, doing 5 damage from the 9 that I was on from my mortal wounds from failing overcharge. And I believe that's pretty much it. It's safe to say at this point there's very little that I can do to win this. He'll hold the objective by the end of my turn 4, because these guys will die, guaranteed, and I'm outnumbered. So even if I was able to somehow slay the Warlord, which is very unlikely in turn 5, or Linebreaker, which is nigh impossible now, because nothing can get up the board that fast, it is pretty much I've lost at this point. Which is no surprise because the army was shit. This is not a decent force in any stretch of the imagination. 1,000 points. I just put it together for 1,000 points just for fun. The problem it lacks is it has some long range fire, but the Vindicator is short range at 36. And against weapons that have 48-inch range, and then these guys with their 36-inch range and fast movement, and are deadly in melee, let alone in range combat, it wasn't looking good from the start, which I already knew that. So with my flyer gone, my last hopes of clawing back easy points such as Linebreaker and slaying the Warlord went. That is all I think, so I'm going to concede here. I'm not going to bother moving into the slog of turn 4 of my guys, because all I can do is probably kill some units, but that's it. There's no real way to win this. I'm not objective based. So that'll be that. It's a Mechanicus victory. So I knew that from the start, to be fair. I've been saying it the entire time. Without Gilliman or even Manius Calgar for some rerolls to ensure some fire, and without some proper decent firepower. It's not even the fact that even had more troops, it wouldn't have made much of a difference because they could have been mowed down pretty easily. I just needed some more killy units. Thunderfire Cannon's great against infantry, not so much against heavy support with toughness 8, with their only strength 5 weapons.
How did you think the game went, Sean?
That was alright, yeah.
Wow, many words there.
Yeah, too many ones being rolled on my part, I think.
I don't think it made much of a difference though. I mean, in terms of things that I could counter with, my Landspeeder went in a sad way. He may have been able to do something, but it made no real difference. It was...
Yeah, when you look at the board now, it's a pretty commanding board presence that Mechanicus have got.
Luckily, the majority of the force presence that I'm worried about is my own. So those onagers are my onagers for my 2,000 point list. as well as that lovely Dice Tech Priest Dominus, which is over there. And I'm pretty happy with the weapons, how they perform. So if anything, it's just tested my own theory for what I'll be using later on for my own Mechanicus army.
Yeah, absolutely.
Though I won't be using the Knights. Knights are cheesy.
So first time on the channel, Sean, and a victory. It's got to be a nice way to start it off.
Oh, yes.
Well, technically it's the first time on the channel, not the first time he's fought proper Ultramarines.
Yeah, that's true enough. So we did shoot a battle report with Sean before Christmas that we'd mentioned in an update video that it was coming onto the channel. Unfortunately, all the files got corrupted and
You missed a slaughterhouse, essentially.
Yeah, we were unable to sort of put that one on record.
These Knights got pretty much one shot.
Yeah.
I think
This was a much better effort this time round.
I mean, the problem, my guys, like my Dreadnought popped out, was instantly gibbed. My Flyer did the work, and my Land Speeder did a little bit, but other than that, there wasn't much my Thunderfires could do. And turn 1, I couldn't really bring a lot to bear because obviously I had to use the cover, otherwise I probably lost a lot more to the onagers. So I wouldn't ever recommend this list. Any stretch of the imagination.
It was something new and fun to try, though, wasn't it? Something a little different.
It was more of a test the units, so more about Thunderfires. Thunderfires did the job. They can kill infantry pretty well. But I still prefer my assault cannon on my lovely Storm Talon back here. He's still the winner's choice. My Dreadnought did absolutely shit. It didn't get to do anything. It stepped out and went boom. Sad days for that guy. He died in battle, was shoved into a lovely suit, and then sent straight out to get shot again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, that'll be the end of this battle report. The next thing you'll probably see is some lovely orcs swarming the table. We'll see what happens in the next one.
Thanks for watching, guys. Happy gaming.